Now getting to from America Olympics to like the most American sport in the world, which is now just starting up, football. Professional football is back.
Yep.
They had the Hall of Fame game. I didn't watch it. No idea what happened. Couldn't tell you anything about it. It doesn't really matter because they play like the starters for literally like
2 seconds.
maybe a snap, and that's about it.
Yeah.
But there's
Nothing
some
crazy.
news that's going around with our local team, the Seattle Sea Chickens, as well as like Pittsburgh is in the news with stuff.
I looked up a couple things.
But go ahead, yeah. You start us off. What do you
Starting
got?
with the Seahawks, I was looking up Geno Smith because Kellen had mentioned that he was hurt, which, like I said, had been gone for a week,
now
so
he's back already.
kind of missed some things. But when I was looking into it, it was like his knee and his hip. But for the most part, it looks like he's going to come back within like a week or two.
No, they already said today.
Oh,
they
wow.
said today he should be back in practice
Yeah.
throwing. And I
So-
don't know if that means he's taking first team snaps or if
Yeah.
he's just like back at the facility warming up.
Yeah,
but
so it looks like Sam Howell's been as of before was taking first team snaps. But then what was kind of cool, which I didn't know, which I probably should have, but our coach Mike McDonald's actually the youngest coach in the NFL.
oh, I didn't know that.
So
either.
he's 36, which
Wow.
which is funny because Gino's only 33. So it's
That's so
3
crazy.
years separate, which is kind of crazy. But
That's crazy.
I just thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
I just read it when I was looking up some articles, and I was like, huh.
That is really weird.
So we'll see. But from what I've seen and read, everyone's really excited about his defense because a lot of the times when you get a new coach, you don't walk into a good situation. But I mean,
Yeah.
we were 9-8 last year. Obviously not great, but we have a lot of good players. So there's a chance we could, maybe do something. I don't know if Geno Smith is going to get us there, but I mean, hey, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think the hardest thing for the Seahawks is one. I think Seahawk fans think that we've been spoiled for. I
yeah.
think we have the best record in all of football in like the past 10 years. I could be a little off on that. Maybe the Patriots do it, but I know we're up there. We've been spoiled since the Super Bowl with Pete Carroll. But the thing that I still kind of get people to remind on is, hey, we had like the worst defense last year. And we got rid of a lot of bodies. We have, I believe, an entire new linebacking core. We have most of a new secondary besides like maybe our two corners. I know the safeties are not new, but they're going to be
Julian
first.
Love is actually going to play more, which he started
he's-
to towards the end of the year.
Exactly. It's
And
gonna
then
be
we
full-time.
signed a couple. I think a guy from the Jaguars and another one. We
Yeah.
lost Quandre Diggs and Jamal Adams, who
We
I
let
liked
them
Diggs.
go. We let them
but
go. Yeah.
Yeah,
We bought
Adams
him out.
was not a good.
Yeah, he did not play very well for
He's
us.
not. He wasn't good in the secondary. He was a really good like linebacker mix prototype kind of like safety. It was kind of weird,
He got injured too.
but it didn't really work in our system. So that's what. They already knew that though because when the first year he came to the Seahawks, they used him in the role he was supposed to be used in. Did very well, but as you can see, the past like 2-3 years or however long it's been, hasn't been good. And like you said, injury history didn't help. So
Yeah, and so I think that there were some issues there, but I think that you have a brand new coaching staff. You're rebuilding everything. You have rookies all over the board, which is fine. The other thing that I don't like, and obviously I know that I'm a Coug and everyone's going to go, you're biased. Our offensive coordinator from UW has had one good year with a UW team that was as loaded. He's been there for a couple of years, but this year was as loaded as you can get. I mean, arguably one of the best offenses on paper, maybe ever.
probably for UW.
They easily for UW.
yeah.
They were so good, and now he's first year in the NFL. So it's to me, I feel like there's going to be a lot of growing pains.
He's walking into a good situation. That's what's nice.
I can agree with
There's
that.
a lot of good
And
pieces,
if people stay
so-
healthy, the Seahawks should be good. Yeah, I mean, yes, Geno I don't think is the answer, and I think he'll be gone as of next year. I don't think we re-sign him, to be honest. I think they might draft or they go with Sam Howell or they find someone in free agency. But you have DK, you have Lockett, you have Njigba, you have what's his
Oh, that-
K9.
And the one receiver that everybody loves. How am I forgetting his name right now?
Bobo.
Yes, Jake Bobo.
That's my nickname.
Yeah, what a guy.
So
What a
the
guy.
team is solid, and like if the offensive line can stay healthy, they're pretty good.
Abraham Lucas.
It's just he's a coup, and I mean it's just staying healthy. They got a lot of banged up last year, so. But yes, I think they're in a good situation. I think they have the potential to probably win about 10 games, maybe.
It's
just
just
hard.
sneak in there though.
It's hard to know because I think the 49ers are still way better. I think the Rams, if healthy, are probably a better team on paper. The Cardinals are such a question mark to me.
yeah,
They had such a good draft. They have, I believe, a new coach.
I think it depends on how good Marvin Harrison is.
Yeah, and
because
what
if him and
Kyle
Kyler
Murray-
have good seasons,
Yeah, it's crazy.
that offense looks good.
So, yeah, and I agree. I think Geno is back as of today. It says Geno, so Geno returns to practice. But
Okay.
again, I don't know. They said he had no visible brace on his knee, nor did he appear to
Good.
run with any limp. He took every first team rep actually, so so he's really kind of getting back. So it's about a week out, but he missed a walk through Wednesday, but yeah, I think he'll be okay. I don't know. I don't know if Geno's the right guy to go with at the beginning of the year, but it looks like that's where they're going to go.
I feel like that's kind of the only option they have. Yeah, as much as I want Sam Howell to be there,
4,000-yard passer last year.
I know.
I'm with you.
I talked about this before, how much I'm excited to see him, but it's just, I don't know.
Yeah,
it's tough. I feel like he at least needs to get an opportunity.
I agree. I think
we'll see that in
preseason, 100%, and I think he should. But I'm not sure. But
yeah,
going from one kind of maybe fake quarterback battle to a really, really intense one.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson's hurt. He has a calf injury, so Justin Fields has been taking all of them, and they say he's starting to win over the hearts of the fans with some really good performances. But Mike Tomlin, who I believe is one of the best coaches ever, I don't think he's ever missed the playoffs.
I think he hasn't ever gone under 500.
Oh, that's what
I think
it is.
he may have missed the playoffs.
I think you're right. No, that sounds way better. But yeah, he was quoted out saying certainly they're competing, but I don't overly concern myself with being fair. So, Tomlin goes, there's no such thing as 50-50. We just pay respect to totality and his resume and his experience. We lean on it and let him lead the group. And so I don't know what that means. Does that mean they both have experience? Obviously, Wilson has won a Super Bowl with the Seahawks.
I feel like Wilson has to start the first game.
Okay.
I think that's my opinion afterwards. I don't know.
Sure.
I feel like they might have a short leash because Justin Fields, obviously he didn't have the most fantastic year, but he was in a weird situation with the Bears too.
And
so it's like,
I think a short leash is the best way you can put it because that division, in my opinion, is the best division. I think all four of those teams can make the playoffs.
They're all stacked.
The Browns have arguably the best defense in the division, which is saying something because the Ravens have a great defense and a good offense, and they picked up Derrick Henry, so they should be back at it.
Yep.
The Steelers, you can't count them out. They
just play hard.
My uncle's been a fan for years, and he'll tell you every year, because everyone picks them to go third or fourth, and they end up in second, and they win 11 games. That's just how they've been that way. And the Bengals, you got Joe Burrow back, they should be good.
Yeah.
And so I think a short leash is the right way. I think they will probably start Russell Wilson, but I think
what would be kind of interesting.
I think Russell he came in as the starter, but with this injury and depending on what
makes
kind of
it more interesting.
It does. So
what would be interesting? I don't think this will happen because it doesn't usually happen in football as much. But if they're to trade one of them mid-season.
Now, if there's a team that gets an injury to a quarterback and is in it,
Yeah.
I think I could see it. I don't know.
It doesn't usually happen.
No.
Which is kind of funny because, for me, obviously, you guys know I'm more of a baseball guy. That happens all the time. So
yeah, and I think it's a lot harder, too, because...
playbooks.
Well, there's that, but there's the fact that Russell Wilson's only on a 1-year deal. Mm-hmm. He's on a prove-it deal, no questions asked. So, and just kind of going through other random things.
I had one thing that I know you'd like to talk about. I was reading about Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew.
Oh, gosh.
Antonio Pierce said it's going to be a pretty heated battle between
I think it should be. I think so. I mean, O'Connell was good last year to end the year. I don't think either quarterback makes the team that much better, to be honest. I think Gardner's obviously the GOAT, but I don't think that there's. I mean, I don't know. Yeah. So it's hard to know what's. I don't think either of those quarterbacks are that's going to make the Raiders a Super Bowl contender.
Yeah.
I just don't see that. But I hope Gardner gets it. I think he deserves a shot to do it. Everywhere he goes, he seems to be above 500, for the most part. He's a solid quarterback, but I also, it's hard to know. Other random news, obviously you had Harrison Buckner, which is crazy with his whole situation we had going on. He did extend himself $25.6 million extension, which makes him, which I think makes him the highest paid kicker maybe ever. I know right now in the league, but I don't know about all time.
I think it's at NFL history.
It's got to be all time,
but I'm almost positive, which is kind of crazy. Not that it is. Not a lot of money, but $5 million, and that's the most ever for a kicker.
Well, you have to remember though.
They're also
how
make
often does a kicker come on?
Well, every touchdown, most likely.
Okay, but
and then field goals.
Who cares?
He probably does kickoffs.
Kickoffs are stupid. Have you seen the new
They're
rule
so
change?
I don't even want to talk
Kickoffs
about
need
them.
to go away.
Yeah,
I'm just
they're
over them.
dumb.
If they're going to do them that way. So that was kind of news. Obviously, the kind of just looking at main news. Brandon Ayuk looks like he's going to get traded. I don't think he's going to sign. I don't think but the 49ers are really well known to be like, all right, we have 10 seconds to go. Let's wait till 1 and then we'll get it done. So there is that change. Case Keenum also came out and said that Stephon Diggs on the Texans now. Mm-hmm. Obviously, Case Keenum was his teammate, I believe, in
Vikings,
Minnesota. Yeah. He said he's never seen someone as hungry as Diggs, and that could be crazy.
About the Texans, did you see Stroud made it to number 20 on the top 100?
Yes, which I think is a little.
It was just cool.
No, I agree.
I just like CJ Stroud. So
I think, and I always think that those lists, because we do talk about those. We have a couple videos coming out with the top 100 athletes. There's the top 25 baseball, NFL, and NBA of 2000s or whatever. I think a lot of those lists
they're so in the moment.
Well, there's that, but they're also just like they just want, is CJ Stroud really the 20th best player in the league? Probably not.
But I don't know if you just look at last year.
Well, that's the thing. That's where I always go. It's 1 year. I don't know, but I'm with you. And I always feel like it's more like a clickbait thing.
Yeah.
Where like right now, would you say Mike Trout is the top 3 baseball player in baseball right now? No, he can't stay healthy right now, which is so sad.
It's past like 4 years.
But when healthy, probably. I mean, he's
for sure.
So there's things like that where I think CJ Stroud is going to be a stud. I think he's going to be really good. Do I think he's that good yet? Probably not.
I don't know. I just thought it was fun.
But I do love it because he is a strong Christian, and we are going to talk about him later. Hint, hint.
Oh, you did?
But
dang it. You stole mine. How's going to be mine next week?
No, I used it before you even sent it to me.
Loser.
So get wrecked.
It's okay.
The other NFL news that kind of went around was the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
There were some players that were inducted. No coaches, which I thought was weird, or they call them contributors, which I don't really. I would guess it's
like announcers.
I don't know if that's an announcer or if that's like a Paul Allen, for the Seahawks or some owner or something. So the seniors were Steve McMichael and Randy Gradishar.
Sure.
So seniors mean they played more than 25 years ago, which I think is maybe before the NFL started, so they induct them later. The modern era players, Dwight Freeney, who is a big Cowboy.
No,
Colts.
And then kind of moved around a little bit. He was good on the Falcons too, I think.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I think you're right. Devin Hester, the kickoff returner.
Seahawks legend.
We're going to move on from that. Andre Johnson, Texans probably greatest player ever.
Yeah.
Quite possibly.
Him and J.J. Watt are
J.J. Watt might
close.
be a good argument. Julius Peppers, Carolina's defensive end, super good. And then Patrick Willis, which I loved, a linebacker from the 49ers. I remember when he tore his ACL in Seattle.
Dude, that was so sad.
Yeah, and it was like everyone was like, "Yo, thank you." And I was like, how do you guys cheer for that? Like, I don't want to beat the 49ers when they're banged up. Any surprises there for you?
I was just going to look.
I'm going to go through the list. Don't look early because I'm going to go through the list of people who didn't make it. I thought there was maybe a couple of them that I'm like, There's I think there's 3 that I was like, oh, those 3 should probably be in there. Maybe 4. So those ones I'll just go through.
Yeah.
Eric Allen was a cornerback.
Okay.
Jared Allen.
There we go. I got it now.
Jared Allen went in or did not go in.
That's surprising.
Minnesota and the Chiefs defensive end, super good. Had the famous.
He was
tying the hog.
Yeah, he was good forever too.
I don't know these guys as well, so I'm going to kind of I don't know. Sorry. Willie Anderson and Jahar Evans were both offensive linemen.
Oh, he was? I thought he was defensive lineman.
No.
Yeah, sure.
Offensive tackle. The one that I think, there's 2 now coming down. Obviously, I think Jared Allen will probably make the Hall of Fame. I don't think he's a first ballot. Antonio Gates.
I just saw that name. I thought he made it.
Tight end, no. So it says finalists.
He's got to be a top 3 tight end ever.
He's definitely top.
I mean, you have Tony Gonzalez.
As of right now, if you eliminate people playing, it'd be Tony Gonzalez probably 1.
Bob Gronkowski is up there somehow.
Yeah, and then Gates. They've got to be 1, 2,
That's
3.
What I'm saying.
And then honestly, and I'm not saying this because I'm named after him, but Kellen Winslow Sr.'s in there somewhere.
Up there, yeah.
He's very good. And then I feel like I'm missing
Travis
someone.
Kelce, obviously, and
Travis Kelce, and then the San Francisco Kittle.
Yeah.
And then you'll have people like Jason Witten might be kind of in that conversation.
That's surprising. Antonio Gates.
Antonio Gates is arguably the best tight end of all time, and he didn't play as long as he should have. I believe he tried to play basketball first or something like that.
I know
but
he played
he
basketball
was
in college.
Unreal. Couple other names. Rodney Harrison, safety.
yeah.
I know that name. He was super good. Torrey Holt. He was a
receiver,
St.
right?
Louis
Yeah.
Rams guy for a long time. He lit us up forever.
Was he on the Greatest Show on Turf that year? Remember
don't
with Kurt
know.
Warner and
He might have been. It was 99. He played from 99
Yeah.
to 2009, so I think he was.
I think it was.
So I think it was like 2002 or 2001
like
when
that,
they went.
yeah.
They lost to the.
they were insane.
and they lost to the
Tight.
Patriots. The Patriots, I believe.
That
They
would
d-
make sense.
Because it was the
think
reach.
that's
Remember
right.
where he goes across and he tries to reach for the end zone, doesn't get it. I think it was Tom Brady's first, but I think that was Bledsoe when Bledsoe came in at the Super Bowl and it took over and still won for the Patriots. The other two that I thought would be in at the bottom here, Darren Woodson, the safety. He was unreal. And then the other one that I thought was really weird, Reggie Wayne did not make it.
Wow.
Reggie Wayne, I thought was
Dude, he was just a staple for the Colts forever.
he was like just him
Forever.
and Marvin Harrison were just with Peyton Manning were just lock solid. Like they just were so
and
good.
Reggie Wayne played like almost as long as Manning. Close. Not quite. but
He
close.
played, I don't know the years 2001 and 14. So he played for 13 years.
as a wide receiver?
Yeah, so he's pretty good. So I think some missed ones. I think Devin Hester's a really cool one because he really is. I mean, he's not really a wide receiver. He was an okay
was
wide
like the
receiver, but he was
first
kick returner,
his
broke
own.
every record,
Yeah.
and was so good. He has the return in the Super Bowl. They did lose, but Bears legend.
For sure.
All the rest of them I'm okay with. Andre Johnson's fun. I remember watching his fight live. I don't know if you've ever seen that. That was unbelievable. I mean, that man he's a big dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so
That's funny.
I don't have too much more. The NFL is just getting started, so we will start talking about it more and more as the podcast goes on.
I had a couple quick things.
go ahead.
Nothing really that big, but
Okay.
Tyreek Hill signed a 3-year, $90 million contract.
Bleh.
Wild.
Oh, the other one too
and then
was
the top 100 came out.
Well, no, your two quarterbacks. Tua signed the biggest
Oh,
deal,
yeah, he did.
and Green Bay's.
Love. Yeah, Jordan Love.
Which-
he did. He definitely.
I don't know if Jordan Love deserved to get paid. Obviously, I think this whole thing is stupid. Mike.
That's what's.
But the thing is, he was going to sit.
Oh yeah.
So he basically said, I took a team-friendly deal because I was still behind Aaron Rodgers. I lit up the world yet last year, did really good. I want to get paid. I'm more shocked that they paid him that much. I thought he would have been like
got a
a
lot.
40 million. I mean, it's like it's like CJ Stroud. Like to me, you got 1 year. I think he's making like
I will find
55 a
out.
year.
Let's see.
It's an insane
4-year, 220. So 50 plus.
55, yeah.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, he's the highest paid quarterback. He's tied with Tua, him, and I think it's
I think it's got to be. Is it
it's
Mahomes?
Lawrence.
Not up
Nope, it's Lawrence. No, Mahomes has like a
Crazy.
10-year deal, but it's all like 40 a year. But it's like a long
there?
term.
Massive.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, the top 100 list came out. I haven't looked at it to be honest.
Honestly, I was just going to cover the top 5, which is how it's interesting. It was Tyreek Hill, Lamar Jackson, Christian McCaffrey, Patrick Mahomes, and Miles Garrett. The
that's
only
in
thing I
order.
was going to say, yeah, that is in order. I think Mahomes needs to be second if you're going to. I would not put Lamar Jackson over him for
It's
1 year.
and I agree. It's hard to argue it though if you're basing it off of last year because Lamar was your MVP.
Yeah.
And I get what you're
That's-
saying. I'm with you because I think overall as a career, Mahomes
It's not even
outplays him by a
close,
mile.
but-
Just based like Mahomes wasn't bad in the regular season, but he
No.
really turned it on in the playoffs.
Oh, dude, he is.
Lamar
yeah.
was ridiculous. McCaffrey is by far. You don't need to change the name or recreate it. Doesn't
It
matter.
bothered me that it was misspelled.
McCaffrey's probably the best overall just talent football
It's
player
insane.
in the league. Tyreek Hill is definitely the fastest. Miles Garrett is
I like Miles Garrett being that high.
Yeah,
up.
he is-
just for defense because everyone loves offense.
he
so.
is a brute. He's insane.
Yeah. That's pretty much it, at least for football.
Yeah, we're going to keep going. We'll probably be a little bit slower with football as the season just kind of starts to build up. We'll probably start to get into the Seahawks a lot more.
Yeah.
Probably do some more questions and stuff with them and figure out what we think
sure.
with them going forward. But we'll try to, like we do with every sport, we try to touch a little bit of everything, try to update with what we think is interesting throughout the year and throughout the week. Otherwise, we were trying to focus a little bit more on the Seattle or the Pacific Northwest sports. The other big news actually out of football, which has nothing to do with NFL, but there is rumors that Washington State and Oregon State might join the Big 12.
Wow.
I guess there's
I was not expecting.
no, it's like it was a thing that came out that's just like it's mad rumors is what it is.
Yeah.
But oh my goodness, hello. they said that ESPN wants to keep them together. Otherwise, like Amazon or Apple or someone could buy out the Pac-12, or the Pac-2, Pac-12.
So sad.
And so ESPN's talking about if we buy into Wazoo and Oregon State, it could actually be cheaper for us in the long run than losing them later to another competitor. So there's rumors that it's like they might announce it in 2024. They would schedule together in 25 and then join in 26. Wouldn't be opposed to it. I still think it's stupid. But the nice thing for at least as a Wazoo fan is we basically not stole, but we basically took all the Pac-12 money, and then we're going to go to the same conference that they're going into because they're just not patient and didn't figure it out, which I think is even funnier. But anyway, that was kind of more, again, Pacific Northwest news. It's totally a Twitter. It could be totally false, but, you know, I'm going to say it because Wazoo is the best college in the world.
No, you got Siwoo.
Who?
That's right, Central, baby.
Never heard of him.
So good.
Now, thanks for listening to the Kind of Athletic podcast. Be sure to follow us on all of our socials and come back next week for next week's episodes.